boys and girls. Today we're going to be working in lesson 3, which is on page 267. How do plants respond to their environment? So when the lesson is over, you should be able to answer this question. This tree fell over and then began growing upward again. Why? So after the lesson's over, make sure you go back and answer this question. Plants and light. What happens when you go from a dark room into a bright room? You blink. Blinking is a response to light. Plants respond to light too. We see the girl here. She says, "Hi, my name is Maria. I like learning about plants. One day, I put my plant in a dark room with one window. A week later, it looked like this. The plant began growing toward the light." Growing toward the light is one way that plants respond to their environment. The environment is all the living and non-living things in a place. Go ahead and underline that definition. Growing toward light helps plants make more food. Let's go ahead and highlight that fact about plants and light. Growing toward light is one way that plants respond to their environment. Let's read about some other ways. Flowering plants respond to light in more than one way. The flowers of some plants open during the day and close at night. Let's highlight that. That's another way they respond to their environment. Other plants have flowers that open at night and close during the day. The bright yellow flowers of the sunflower plant face the sun throughout the day. The flowers move from east to west, following the sun as it crosses the sky. So let's highlight that too, that the sunflower plant faces the sun throughout the day. It says morning glory flowers open in the morning sun and last only one day. By afternoon, the flowers close up and die. Let's look at this box down here that says, what will the plant do? Look at the picture of the plant on the opposite page. Imagine that you turned the plant around so that it was growing away from the light. Explain and draw what would happen to the plant. So go ahead and draw a picture of what would happen to the plant. Make sure you draw a picture of the light as well to show us what's going to happen to the plant and the light, and then write a little explanation there. The heat is on. What happens when it gets very warm out? You sweat. Sweating is a response to the rising temperature. Plants respond to rising temperatures too. In the winter, the branches of a tree in my grandmother's yard were bare. In spring, the temperature changed and the weather got warmer. The tree was covered with buds. And we can see this picture here. A close-up, the tree gets buds in the spring. Leaf budding is one way that plants respond to heat. Let's highlight that fact. The buds come out when the temperature warms. The buds change into leaves. How else do plants respond to temperature changes? Temperature affects when seeds germinate. Germinate means that the seeds start to grow. You might notice that when the temperature is warmer in the spring, seedlings begin to grow. For example, acorns begin to grow in oak trees. Some plants will not release their seeds unless it is burning hot. Some pine cones only open and release their seeds after a forest fire. Up here it says, hyacinth bulbs must go through a period of cooler weather before they will grow again in the warmer temperatures of the spring. Down here we see this photograph, and the caption says, some cones release their seeds in response to fire. Okay, so let's look at this chart here. It says, what's the effect? Fill in the chart to show the details about plants and heat. Plants respond to temperature, and then go ahead and give us the details about how plants respond to temperature. Cold snap. What happens when it's really cold outside? Your teeth chatter. Plants respond to cold weather too. In late fall, the oranges on our orange tree were ready to pick. Before we could pick them, the weather got really cold. There was a freeze. The fruit was ruined. Weather below 0 degrees Celsius or a freeze can harm a plant. Let's highlight that. Sometimes the freeze happens when the plant is flowering. The flowers die. The plant will not produce fruit. Sometimes the freeze happens when the fruit is on the tree. As Maria said, the fruit is ruined. There are ways to keep plants safe from freezes. People can spray the fruit with water. Ice forms over the fruit and protects it from the cold. The caption says, cold weather has not damaged these oranges. They are ready to pick. So go ahead and look at the do the math section. The graph shows the number of ripe oranges picked from Maria's tree for 5 years. Study the graph and then answer the questions. How many oranges were picked each year? In which years do you think a freeze occurred? Make sure to answer that question and then tell us why. Up or down? What happens when you jump? Gravity pulls you back. Plants respond to gravity too. Gravity pulls things towards Earth's center. A plant's roots respond to gravity by growing mostly downward. A plant's stem responds in the opposite way. The stem grows upward away from the pull of gravity. Let's highlight those important facts. A plant's roots respond to gravity by growing mostly downward, and a plant's stem responds in the opposite way. The stem grows upward away from the pull of gravity. Even when a plant gets tipped on its side, the plant's stem will slowly start to grow upward again. And we can see in the photograph the captions, the stem grows up, the roots grow down. And then down here, it says, growing against the pull of gravity gave this tree its bent trunk. Let's look at how it's bent. I know that gravity makes plants' roots grow downward and stems grow upward. So what would happen if I turned a bean plant on its side? The stem of this bean plant grows upward away from gravity. On its side, the bean plant's stem continues to grow opposite the pull of gravity. So notice what happened. Even though it's on its side, it doesn't grow sideways. It grows up, opposing gravity. You are going to predict what the plant will do if the pot is turned upright again. If it's turned back the right way, what's going to happen to the stem? Draw what the plant will look like after a few weeks. So write your answer here and then draw the picture.